Hello, this is Lonnie with Rolling O Farm. I've been needing a goat and sheep mineral feeder that I could attach to my mobile watering station when I'm doing rotational grazing with my goats and sheep. I found some products that look like they would work, but all of them were very expensive. Today I'm going to show you how to take a plastic 55-gallon drum and some other scrap material that you may have around your house and make a mineral feeder that you can attach to the side of a barn, hang on a gate, hang on a fence, or use in other places. Come along. Special shout out to Brunt Workwear. If you're looking for some quality work boots at an affordable price, I would encourage you to check out their product line. They've got quite a selection of work boots and also other workwear. I'll put a link to their website in the description below. So what I have here is a very common plastic 55-gallon drum. You probably do want to find one that's food grade, that's had something in it that's safe, and clean it out good. I've also got a 2x12, about 4 foot long piece of wood, a 2x2, a piece of 1-inch angle iron. Actually, this is an old bed frame. Piece of 1/4-inch plywood, and then some metal to cover the plywood for a lid. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to cut this barrel down and use the barrel kind of as the main part of the mineral feeder itself. We'll use the 2x12 as the end pieces to give it some rigidity for the frame, and then we will put a piece of angle iron on there and weld some brackets where we can mount it onto our trailer. The wind is gusting pretty good today, and so I may have to do a lot of this video without much audio in it, or it'll get real annoying, but we'll do the best we can. First thing that I'm going to do is cut this 2x12 down to 2-foot sections. We're going to take this barrel inside, see if we can get our lines drawn on it, and then we'll bring it back outside to cut. So I'm trying to have about 30 inches of plastic material to work with. I've drilled some holes in this barrel before to put some handles in it. And so that's going to limit the amount, but I think I should still be able to get about 29 inches of plastic out of it, which will work. So what I'm going to be doing is just drawing a line all the way around it as straight as I can, both at the top and the bottom, and then we'll cut out this center piece of plastic, and that's what we'll use for the body of the feeder. So now we can move inside a little bit here where the wind is not blowing quite so bad. My next task is to flatten this out and make this where I can more easily use the piece of plastic. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to heat this plastic up and lay it flat and then let it set that way. So I found it's easier to let it sit next to a heater, warm up good, then you can start to spread it apart. Work your way down. Now I can lay it out. So I've made a very low-tech, redneck brake to be able to heat up and then crease the plastic barrel where I want to be able to fold it in order to be able to wrap it around the wooden frame. And all I did is I just took some old wood that I had and some old barn hinges and made a little frame here where I can slide my plastic to the point where I want to bend it and then screw this down and then be able to use the hinges to be able to bend a nice tight crease. And it's important that once it's folded, I keep it there for a little bit. So what I do is I just tie it off and then let that bend cool. Now once it's cooled off so that the plastic will hold its shape, then I just untie my brake. Now I'm ready to be able to move to my next line. So here's the basic frame for our hopper. So when I crease this, the first crease that I made was on this end right here, and I worked from this end up. In this end, I made a crease right here for a little lip to keep the minerals in. So when this is up, the minerals they won't be able to just rake the minerals out because of that first lip. Just to do a dry fit here to see how this will line up. It'll be pretty close. Now for my second piece of plastic, I'm going to need it 16.5 inches long and the same width as my other piece, but I'm going to need to cut out a piece so that it can slide in between the wooden frame on the outside. But I'm going to want to keep 5 inches at the top to be able to screw into the wooden frame. So I'll cut this out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's the cutout for the front part of the hopper, of the feeder. I just need to crease this right here so that it'll have a taper to be able to gravity feed the minerals down to the bottom. So now we're going to affix the wooden frame onto the plastic hopper. And I'm using deck screws. I'm thinking that'll be a little bit more corrosion resistant since we are dealing with salts and minerals on this. I know that'll be pretty corrosive on them, so I'm hoping that'll give me a little bit longer screw life out of there. So now we're going to install the front part of the hopper on, and we're going to attach it with the 2x2s by screwing them to the side, first screwing them, affixing them to the plastic hopper front, and then screwing them to the side of the wooden frame. The first thing I'm going to do though is drill some pilot holes in this so that I don't split my wood. Okay, now to to install the front part of the hopper. And I'm using a little bit longer deck screw on this, using a 2.5 inch. All right, we have the hopper complete. I'm going to take some 100% pure silicone and caulk the inside edges just so that none of the minerals seep out through the side. All right, now we need to screw on the metal brackets. So now it's time to put the top on. I've cut out, this is just some Actually, it's probably 1/4 inch plywood. It's pretty lightweight. You could use 1/2 inch or 7/16 and it would probably be okay. And I've got some old door hinges, flimsy, cheap door hinges. They weren't good enough really to be used on a real door, but they'll work perfect for this. I saved those, so I'll be able to fasten these on, put my door on. So we had a little bit of plastic left over from the barrel, and so I made a crease in it, rounded some corners, and I'm going to make a little hood to go over here, a little rain shield to let the rain run off so that it doesn't get in the bottom of the hopper. So now what I'm going to do is cut a piece of metal to go over the top of the plywood lid, and that way it'll just provide some waterproofing, and screw that in with roofing screws that have the rubber washers on them. I need this piece of tin to be about a 1/2 inch overhang from the wooden lid, and so I need it to be 33 inches long, and I believe it was 16 inches wide. I need to go double measure. Yes, 16 by 33. And I'm going to try to round the corners off so that it'll be a little less likely that either I or the sheep will cut themselves. All right, so now we can put the metal on the top. And I'm just trying to get a 1/2 inch overhang all around the wood. And then fasten it in place with roofing screws that have the rubber grommet on them. So gravity will keep the lid down most of the time, but a really strong wind or storm could blow it up. So it'd be good to put a fastener on the side. One of those little hook and eye fasteners would be good. I didn't have one of those, so I just used some wire and put a screw in the side, and I can just bend the wire up and it'll hold it in place. And that'll last, I won't be filling it more than once a week at the most, so that'll last quite a few years. I do think the next one that I make, I'm going to try to simplify the design a little bit. I'm going to make just a rounded bottom, cut it out with a scroll saw or jigsaw, and that way I don't have to make as many creases in my plastic. I can just heat it up and make one smooth roll all the way around. Just put one crease here for a lip to keep the minerals to come out, and probably have the same front on it with the hopper. But that may be a little bit simpler design. I haven't tried that yet. I'll try that on the next one. So I think they're happy to have some minerals. Appreciate you watching the video. If you are in need of goats or sheep and you're within driving distance of Northwest Alabama, whether it's a starter herd or flock or just some individual animals, give me a call, see what I have available, or check out the website, www.rollingofarm.com. Happy farming.